Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're in the world. This is not VOS television coming to you from a variety of sources, but originating from, I will say, Canada or directed from Canada. But the co-hosts are Mr. Victor Mengot in Surrey, England, Mr. Jallo Jamburia in Norway, and Mr. Shillon in the USA. So we get 4 countries involved. Production from Canada, co-hosting from Surrey, England, Norway, and the USA. Now, as usual, we're back again. So today, Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, I cannot sit in the church in the 9th of November 2024. So we get a variety of issues we want to discuss, because normally when I know say we can tend for tackle trending issues, meaning things where they happen right now or they take place in Sierra Leone, and what we think say people need to know. But before I get to that, I want to let you know say today, as I indicate, me, Mr. Shillon, Mr. Victor Mengot, and Mr. Jallo Jamburia, that were 3 to present the show today. So I hope at the end of it all, when I go enjoy every minute of it. But before I go further, and before I say anything, make Mr. Victor Mengot introduce himself, Mr. Jallo Jamburia introduce himself, and then I will go back to just appraise you now or update you now about the numbers them for call and how for reach way while this show to go on. So, Mr. Mengot, to you, sir.
Well, Fambulem in Akusha, in a Cabo, wherever in a day today. And as usual, with the trending issues. And the topic that we want to look today all come back to service to the nation, service to our people, and also how we protect them. We look at 3 trending news. First, we start with public sector reform. And I think that public sector reform there, we lucky forget Mr. Jallo Jamburia, we don't work in the public sector in a salon for quite some time. And if familiar with reform. The next one we'll look at another reform what we do, now public transport reform. But this time we look at this them, especially when it comes to road accidents them. And we don't do the reform. The question is, waiting do 30 days the thing that we can put together. As Mr. Shillonki always say, when we change some things them, we're not going for just because we want change. Now for make this. And then finally, we will look into what other area where they affect everybody, when are the public, when are things for do with consumer protection. When down there now with the Sales Standards Bureau, we get 2 main responsibility. We one are for quality, consumer protection, but also now then for authorized things then we for do with weights and measure. Then they will be very interesting because we know say from time we will measure rest. We will get I don't know most people and then I remember Churchman's cup now been used for measure rest. And Churchman have been cigarette from England, have been cigarette cup. When it comes to per mine, we will get actual bitters per mine. Actual bitters now be other measure. Where now a small bottle, when an empty bottle from Atwood bitters, when a mess
There you go.
they can get picking it past, so we have to look into them. And in a join the conversation, follow look at all entire way mean for provide good service for people, for protect to consumer them, and we get for all the government to account. All them boku agency ask me, co-host can say where then they bring together, how then they work together for provide better services for the people. I think now that I was saying in my introduction over Mr. Jamboria, let's have kind of this small talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Fambul them una kushe, una kabo, una good afternoon, una piari sekeno. Bondesia weana, kawyena. We can't talk today, but some of the issues, yeah. And I think the concern not go be only about what thing they want to do. Because Sierra Leone is like taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps backward always. Especially in areas of public sector management. We don't see plenty of them things here, we don't start before, then stop them, or it go dormant. Now then they come back and say, will they start them again? Like this bureau where they talk about this weights and measure standard bureau, at one point in time, we all know say be there under Ministry of Trade, now be whole department. Then at another point, then say, okay, now we can separate. It became an authority by itself. Why then do that? From that time to now, what would have been the change will happen? I think we need for begin ask them questions, yeah. But let we not derail the talk. I'll go hand over back to me co-host them, let them lay the foundation.
All right. Let me make one correction. I think when I start, I said today not the 9th, but today not the 10th of November. So I hope nobody know you read that, but would I read that? I'm making a correction now. And also, let me just update you now on the net, on the sources then for which we, while this broadcasting the take off. Number one, if you call from North America, and in North America, I will include Mexico, Canada, and the United States, we'll get a toll-free number where, as you now all know, if you know I'm for pay for the call, making in a call because you might be put on a queue or in a queue for wait your turn, and it could be at your expense. This is not free of charge. 1-866-944-7722. 1-866-944-7722. Then at the toll-free line. If you call from the United Kingdom for the same reason, you know, I make a call at your expense, there's a free line that you can call, which is plus 44 20 80 89 1455. Again, plus 44 20 80 89 1455. Likewise, if you call from Australia, there's a local number you can call. We're going to reach we at no expense to you when at plus 61 2909 84337. Again, plus 64 09 84337. Plus 61, I'm sorry, 2909 84337. That is if you're calling from Australia. You can also go on WhatsApp, like I always can say, we're universal, regardless of where you call from. You should be able to reach me on WhatsApp line, which is 1-343-997-5828. 1-343-997-5828. In addition to their sources here, or you were able for reach me na Facebook, na YouTube, na Twitter, which is now X, na VOS TV websites. So you're able for reach me now. For example, you're able for reach me a tweet, or Twitch, TWITCH, Twitch TV, which is VOS television. If you tune that, you go able to get to it. If you go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, you can download the mobile app for Reach VOS television. You can able to access we. Also, if you go in the radio, you can able to reach we now VOS radio website when VOSradio.com. You also can reach we on VOS television.com. And if you want to reach me on Twitter, you also can able for reach we VOS television. You also can able for reach we now the radio station with a 91.9 FM. 91.9 FM. You can reach me on Facebook, now Voice of Salon TV, Voice of Salon Radio, Voice of VOS-SL, VOS-UK, VOS-Australia, and then of course YouTube, go to VOS network, you'll be able to get through. So there are several sources where you can apply, for you can try for reach way. So we'll try to make it as easy and easily reachable as we possibly can. Also, I'd like to announce to the public or the listeners then, or the audience, please feel free to call at any time once we begin for give some narrative. You can call in any time, and let we adhere to the 3-minute rule, the 3-minute rule. And if you get more for say past 3 minutes, just call back so you go down the queue. That way they will try for proportionately shape the time so nobody not there on hold for too long a time. And as I indicated, this today we will talk as usual on trending issues. And Mr. Mengot already does narrate what we will talk about. So with that in mind, I think I need not go over it. So what I would suggest we do, now go right back to Mr. Mengot, where I would like to do the opening with respect to the issues, and we'll get started. So Mr. Mengot, back to you, sir.
Yeah, well, family in Akushe, in Akabo. But as usual, one thing we can try for do, when we always come with evidence. Because say Boko Online TV they now, and we also acknowledge resource. So today waiting to happen for the 3 topics that will get video them, where we go play, then ourselves listen. Then we wait there and go do your analysis. Then we go also expecting for listen carefully and come back with some questions them, a lot of discuss, and anybody we get further help improve the country, we welcome that. So I think I'll go back, Lord not delay. Lord start with this first topic, when a very, very good topic, when this public sector reform. And also when they talk about public sector, when they talk about people then way they serve the citizens of Sierra Leone, paid for from real revenue what they collect. So I think let's start first. So we'll all go in at the same page. Then the host, Mr. Shilon, go directly through the key issues them we will discuss. And as I say, we get Mr. Jamboy and I, we get practical experience here. I don't take part on that, having worked in the civil service for long. So let's start with the video of what government is trying to do. Because we get different people that we talk in that video there.
When President Julius Maada Bio put together a manifesto and talk about in Big Five, for the first time in the history of this country, very first, we don't see a government, an administration, make real and meaningful efforts for revamp the public sector and harmonize the public sector. For the very first time.
Document, we get 8 pillars. We get 8 pillars in this strategic plan. The first one is structural alignment and rationalization of mandates in the public service. We find out, see, if you go to most MDAs, the roles and responsibility they overlap. So this strategic plan will try to address that. The one where we will look at human resource management, where the civil servant workforce planning. Then the other pillar is the strategic master plan and the public sector coordination and management. And then the principal role of the ministry, we need no more for coordinate Then we get the fourth one, the fifth one, we now monitoring, evaluation, performance management for effective public service delivery. Then pillar 5 of the strategic plan, now e-governance. We want to make sure moving forward, even in terms of as we go 2025, 2026, then the public service delivery will be paperless, all things being equal.
Talk about the public service. The civil service is just small area, part of the public service. First of all, we don't try to define what's a public service. Most people, they bring the two together as being the same, not the same. Civil service, a small group of professionals in their own right who they deliver government service. The public service extends beyond that. Everybody will pay from the consolidated fund and public service. So overall, the government will focus on civil service area. They will focus on the entire public service. But the civil service come into play because now a small group of individuals will they carry directly government programs and policies. Inside the public service now, they different, even parastatals and public servants. So group everybody together in perspective. Everybody where they pay from the consolidated revenue form, now public servants.
If you bring the people in, you don't appraise them, you don't check them how they work through performance management, you don't get the best out of them. So we set performance management systems in. Now I make you see today, President Bio, they sign performance contract with ministers. In not tap them, even directors they sign performance contract. Then even the lower level staff them, we call them IPAS. They said they sign performance contract. So we want to make sure say performance contract institutionalized. Then, in right, you get the people there. If you don't pay them well, you demotivate them. So now that make performance incentive stand.
All right, very quickly before the expert, Mr. Jamboria in particular, take over, I just noticed something, and it may not have anything to do with the beginning of the speaker's comment. It may just have to do with the manner in which it was recorded. It would have been nice to know the names of the first, the second, the third, the fourth speaker, just for understanding the purpose. So when they make reference, we will only refer to them if we want to mention them as the first speaker, the second speaker, the third speaker, the fourth speaker, because like me, you don't know the name. All right, but my co-hosts, they might know the names of some of the people. Then very quickly, this thing, there is always this ingenious, because that's why they're beginning to make it look like, this ingenious differentiation between a civil service and public service. Oh, we don't find President Biota discuss that define the difference. But we do know every civil service is a public service, but not every public service or servant, not every public servant is a civil servant. So we just need to understand that. So civil servant, indeed, by the definition of one of the speakers then, now a bureaucrat, where they work for the government on a permanent basis, sometimes on a temporary basis, but you're not part of the government's employment force. But a civil servant indeed renders public service. Now you get public servants, where like defined for, say, you can get some people who work for them parastatal, they're not necessarily permanent civil servants, so they can always be referred to as public servants. But I want to let people understand, say, every civil servant is a public servant, but not every public servant is a civil servant. So let's move forward. Mr. Jamborea, I pass it over to you, sir.
Yes, I think I know two of the four people the way they talk. Philip Tete Matondone was a colleague teacher at the Prince of Wales School. The second man we talk after Mr. Sila. And the other one we talk after Mr. Kaliluba, I know him. And these are people who know me likewise. You see, as you rightly try for differentiate, Every civil servant is a public servant, but not every public servant is a civil servant. Because when you talk about teachers, they are public servants. People who work in authorities like the Road Transport Authority, Roads Authority, they are public servants. As long as then they receive wages from the consolidated fund, then they under the class of public servants. The civil servants then are then specifically they run the ministries, where directly they work under ministers. But they themselves are public servants. You see, one thing where Mr. Barr make clear now, he said it all in that short speech we make. The reforms them where we they talk about in Sierra Leone started well before 1990. So these are not new reforms. They are gradual processes of change for bring with public service, for meet up to maybe other standards. Like, for example, in the 1990s, we advocated for the formation of the Teaching Service Commission. That commission was never legalized until 2011, but it had gone through cabinet. Public sector reforms itself started in the 1990s. And some of the few people that will be involved in public sector reform, where I think say I work with, was late Dr. Shamsu Mustafa. He was directly in charge of a lot of things concerning public sector management reforms were connected with international trade. Then you been get Samura Matthew Wilson Kamara employed in 1993 to oversee public sector reforms. And even before the overthrow of President Joseph Saidu Momo, public sector reforms had started in Sierra Leone. We have had the Airports Authority formed. We've had the Sierra Leone Roads Authority formed. They opened the office now, PWD. We've had the Road Transport Authority formed. I think now then they call it SLRTC or whatever. A lot of then, the most important thing that happened at that time was the inclusion in the 1991 budget for the provision of the Office of the Ombudsman for ensure fair play and regulation of service terms in the public sector. It's in the Constitution, 1991 Constitution, the Office of the Ombudsman. It was taken from a Scandinavian example of public sector management. Then, of course, we will get the investment organization where them be informed that day. Then they call on SLEPA, Sierra Leone Export and Voting Association. Then we get office na National Insurance Office, them building na Walpole Street. Today, that institution is called Sierra Leone Investment Board. Their name has been changed, it no matter. But all these reforms had been done. Moving forward, the distinctions whether they try for make now, these are things that had been done before. Even in the last regime, they practice them, but not at the scale where something they want to come to. So this issue about saying first, let us make Sierra Leone. Let us make Sierra Leone. Let us stop personalizing. As a matter of fact, all of these so-called reforms taking place in Sierra Leone today are part of the agreement between the government of Sierra Leone and the international community led by Dr. Jim Fona when he was negotiating for the international community to come back and begin to assist Sierra Leone. So whatever is being done now, maybe it's an implementation of what had been practically agreed on before. Maybe we are reaching the implementation stage now. Like I said before, Teachers Commission went to cabinet. It had gone through all the processes, but it never became real until 2011. And that recommendation came from the Sierra Leone Teachers Union in 1990. Yes, I can say so because I was there. I was part of the people who made those recommendations in my last days as a teacher and vice president of the Teachers Union. We recommended that. We recommended a teaching service social security trust fund that was transformed to NASIT. NASIT that we have today came from the Teachers Union. So let us make Sierra Leone. Let us stop making it our project. It's the country's project. Over to you, sir,
Mr. Shillon. Yeah, Mr. Mangot, let me go to you. Go ahead, sir. I know you get something.
Fine. As in, I know my area of interest now, anything to do with governance. And when I listen to the different speakers, then talk about 8 pillars, but now only 5 he mentioned in the video. I think in a download for look at. Pillar 1, it talk about structural mandate. What does that mean? My colleague already talk about that. Which is structural alignment and rationalization. Because let's take, for example, one area, because then there was a video going around where they talk about tree felling around Kosotong. Environments are very important area. We they get COP19, COP20 alignment in terms of the environment. This government creates the Ministry of the Environment. We get EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. We get NPAA, National Public Area Protection Authority. Right? Then we get new people that will bring come, the Forest Ranger. So now makes what we can call the MDAs, Ministries and Departmental Agencies. How do you coordinate all the activities? How do you align them? What is the chain of command, right? Line of communication and resources. Because it's so good for create all the agencies and they, because there was a time where you say another agency where them in create, where we've been growing at this program with national protection, we only get 14 staff without much. And then supposed for work of Office of National Security. So then they're very critical. This mandate, how you they coordinate, how you they align, then are one. The next area we talk about now, human resource management, which is workforce planning. When you talk about workforce planning and human resource management, I know say yes, HMRO, Human Resources Office, when they look at the amount of public servants them and civil servants them who we need for perform the government function. We forget from be mindful, say, we don't get a proliferation of ministries. Like for instance, if we go back in history, when we start, we not even get up to 20 ministries there. It was my ministry. But if you look at today, that one ministry there, you get Ministry of Lands, when a separate ministry, Ministry of Mines, when a separate ministry, Ministry of Labor, when a separate ministry. So we don't get more ministries, we don't get more departmental agencies then. And all that they cost money. And how do you plan, manage the workforce? Remuneration is a very important thing. also a lot of people that we don't get civil service training from time immemorial. Now then for responsible for train people them for know what we need. The next one we then talk now public sector coordination and management. Again, when you talk about coordination of management, let me go to what my colleague been talk. In the transport sector, when I'm in your area, when we get a reform there, first we get road transport authority. Now we don't get Sierra Leone public transport authority. What we get for talk about now the next. We get road maintenance for the administration. We get all the agencies there, right? What's in the average Sierra Leonean interested in? Now improvement in service, right? Now they're interested in transparency and accountability. Now for no, what they do, my colleague also talk about ombudsman. Waiting an ombudsman. Now place where if well you go lay complain. And when you go lay complain for
Block.
be like,
Control room. I don't know if Mr. Mangos is aware
They
that
freeze or not.
he's freezing. So,
Yeah.
because if not, can Mr. Jamborea just take over for Musa?
Let me just take him on the ombudsman way they try for explain.
Good.
The ombudsman is somebody where they for ensure ethical standards, especially where it concern employment and conditions of service. And also, the ombudsman, as it is practiced in Scandinavia where I live, has something to do with employment and wage determination, but not that direct. What I mean by not that direct, in order to sit in any tripartite board, outside they get employers, employees, and arbitrators doing collective bargaining. But whatever has been agreed on, it is the duty of the ombudsman for ensure say it is implemented. Like for example, I cannot employ a driver or a house servant in Norway. The reason is I have to pay that person the minimum wage. And the minimum wage in Norway, as it is, may be my own wage as I sit here. So I cannot give my wage away to somebody. You understand?
Yeah.
That's the role of the ombudsman for ensure say labor regulations, labor standards are kept in the public service. In the public service. Let me make it clear. Ombudsman no get business for go negotiate with a factory owner. But everybody employed in the public service, the ombudsman now in duty for ensure say he gets the basic minimum wage. Even that cleaner forgets that minimum wage that has been agreed on. Over to you, sir. You don't come back.
yes, but also in Sierra Leone context, the ombudsman in remit wider. It's there for people to complain about maladministration.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so that one thing I want to we'll talk about this monitoring and evaluation. If you listen to one of the speaker, it talk about performance contract. Bio contract for ministers then. I remember even the Minister of Transport also say himself introduce performance contract for departments is them under in watch, where they want and then are like the Maritime, Sierra Leone Maritime Association, Sierra Leone Civil Aviation Authority, Sierra Leone Road Safety, all learning what's performance contract here. Because when you get performance contract, you have to measure the performance of public servants. But are they transparent? They are not.
That's one
Because
question, Mr. Mango.
they are not. They're not public.
However, you hold the thought small. I will ask one question. What in are the measure way they do the performance contract on? Do we have the data to say this is the expected outcome? So we expect you to meet this minimum level? Do we have data in Sierra Leone to assist performance contract measure? I hope you understand what I mean. Now we say maritime department, we expect say they're able to produce X amount of tons of fish per annum. Then you say maritime department, we expect to now for account for this minimum. Do we have that data? Is Sierra Leone a data-driven country? To put it in simple terms, over to you, sir.
Well, I can say some areas we have data, in some we don't. We are still struggling. Because I can talk of my own area when I'm in area of interest. When I something where they affect everybody, where it camp and transportation. Let's hold there and there. Let's talk about another agency where for help with in this performance monitoring. Because we create under the last government an agency called Right to Access Information Commission. That Right to Access Information Commission there, it means every citizen get the right for contact the commission for ask about governance and data we they ask for, and we can able use that for monitor the performance of government. How effective that Right to Access Information Commission they be. It's all good and well and good. We'll talk about that. So we get the institutions them, we get the laws them, but the point is we have a lot of challenges. So my final area, when I importance, what I think of and everything that we talk about e-governance. And so you will get a lot for talk about that, Mr. Jamboya. Because when you talk about e-governance, you come back to what they talk. Move for using data and they actually don't try to improve. When you go for right, the able passport and everything. And seeing the benefits of e-governance, they reduce
paperwork.
They make electronic under NACRA. So all linking and therefore every individual in data get for link to that NIN, which is an improvement plus in the government side. But there is a lot to be desired. Over to you, sir, for
If we are to talk about e-governance, the first thing we for kind of mind, do we have efficient connectivity in Sierra Leone to undertake e-governance? Because when they talk about e-governance, it's not only about reducing paper, it's about efficient cloud management of an institution or a country. Norway is an e-governance country. As I sit here from this computer, I have access to a lot of data which concern me in the society. I get a site where they go to, I use my public access PIN codes, etc. I dey access my health report. I dey access my bank account. I dey access motor car license, insurance, and everything. Then, of course, part of e-governance. Now, for organized people, the settlement issue. What I mean? Everybody in Norway, you dey put your social security number. Automatically, you dey see your address, all the people that were in use, their age and everything. My passport, if I swipe am na any airport, the same applies. The bio data they come up. That's what e-governance is. But e-governance cannot work where there is no connectivity or slow connectivity. So what are we doing about telecommunications for us to have e-governance? Now therefore they use terms them because we all use them. How efficient is telephone and internet connectivity in Sierra Leone? We're going to make e-governance easy. Because when you talk about e-governance, it's not only about people in Freetown, it's about people in the whole country. It's about somebody who is working for the public service, who is out of Sierra Leone, who may want to access certain data, he gets certain permissions for login. You can log in England, log in America, you get the data we want. Let us say you come for a conference, you need for sign a contract. Automatically from where you are, you can log in with your permission rights and go in and get the data you need, you negotiate. That's what e-governance is about. So are we ready for it? Saying is good, doing is fine, is more better. All this talk. Let we try for look at the practical things that we for do first. Public sector reform for go with e-governance because it creates an environment for reduced overlaps. If everything is on the web, it minimizes overlaps, it creates more accountability and transparency. Because I can go to the web now and get my health report, my doctor can access it, every other office connected can access it. Boy Jalo cannot lie that he is sick and don't go to work. We get 3 days free here, we can go without, report. But after the 3rd day, if I go to a doctor for verify, say, yes, this man sick, then put him online. Now the database. Not everybody they go there. But specific authorities like your employer, the government, get access to that. So that's where transparency and accountability begins. There is a website here in Norway. If I go to my social security number, they see everything about me, earnings, me taxes where I don't pay, etc. The government, they see them. So I not get for do tax evasion. That's e-governance. E-governance is not about minimizing paper use. It's about creating electronic accountability, transparency, and efficiency. Because when you have all that online, it makes it easy for a man in Ministry of Agriculture to find and get data concerning economic planning that relates to agriculture. This talk. How do we practicalize it? That's the big question. Are we prepared for that? Do we have the infrastructure? Do we have the mentality even? Because all of this, the implementation goes with our mentality, with perceptions about what we want to do and how we want to do it. So the task is with them now. They've said it. We are waiting to see how far they can go with it. Over to you, sir.
And if I may interrupt, or interject, just a brief opinion from my own standpoint, talking about e-governance, because I think we're there abroad, one way or the other, are somewhat familiar with what e-governance is all about. For example, me as a lawyer, we do with filings, most of with filings, electronically, from we office, from we home. So you not got to take what you then call na Sierra Leone, then you law practice, then say, and call them bundle. Indeed, it's a bundle. Bunch of papers we get for go put down and this and that. And you see, so if we want to improve, for example, let's say I'm doing a divorce case. Now, everything I get for doing, like Mr. Mr. Jamboya referred to as public access code. Yeah, we all get code where everything where you want upload, you get to upload them through a portal. So we self get code. So I want to do a divorce case. I drop a complaint. Everything is done electronically from the house or from the office. The payment is done electronically. The filing is done electronically. The acceptance of the filing is done electronically, and so on, everything. And then the hearing date comes. Okay, we make them easy, whereby if it's an uncontested divorce, for example, the plaintiff who brings the action does not necessarily have to be present, neither in court nor beside the attorney. The attorney can do, in case we get a judge from the courtroom, come on board. He called the case from the house. It can be from a dining room, from a parlor, depending on how we set up there. I can let the judge know, say, I represent Mr. X, and then Mr. Shillon, give me the basis for this divorce. Give me the history, the short history of it. So I could tell the judge, and that the court get jurisdiction for hearing the matter, or tell the judge when it was filed. Does the judge want to make sure so will follow the process or the procedure? All of which my clients intend in there about your own business, they're doing stuff. They don't pay me for that service day. And so then if all goes well, the judge say, okay, I accept, I will issue a judgment for absolute divorce based upon what you say, Mr. Shillon. Then in a matter of hours, I can go back to my portal and see the judgment has been entered, and I can retrieve that judgment today, still within the comfort of my home. You see?
Yeah.
So now, these are the things where we try to get ideas back home. Like what I just explained is based on practical experience, not theoretical experience, which is what a lot of experts them back home get. That book, paper, certificate experience. That's why we have so much difficulty in implementation. You see, because people can theorize and can tell you how, they will tell you how you can get to Jupiter with a spacecraft because they're reading a book. But if you give them the practical, in fact, what I don't understand, what would be the school? In the sciences, mostly. We'll get laboratories, or laboratory, what we call them back home, we call in America laboratories. The laboratory now for illustrate and demonstrate how what in theoretically something says, it can be done practically. So now, the end of the day, what would they talk about now? My own thing is, what would they talk about? We know how to attract, because there is this thing, I think Mr. Mr. Mengot mentioned, the Right to Access Information Commission. We are good at names. I think we will win an Academy Award. How good are we in terms of implementation? Because Mr. Jamboria say, Sierra Leone, the country is run by all governments so far. 1 step forward, 3 steps backward. So they are 2 steps behind. So it's Forward never, backward ever. That's how we operate.
Say
And then,
backward ever, forward never. Not
yeah,
forward never. Yes.
yeah. You see, so we never go forward because if you take one step forward, you go two steps backward, you're still one step behind. So, but then, because they come up with them fancy name there, but for some of we know better. Some of we know just kind of abroad, get degrees, and go back home and become Kakatoa, boss man. We can theoretically implement policies, but we have no practical experience for backup what we talk about. You see, it becomes a problem. Now, that doesn't mean you cannot head a department, even with what I just described. But you for be humble enough for say, okay, I get this big degree, but I don't think I know as much. But I want a good team of people what go make me ministry or my department shine. Now that humility today we not get. Instead, what you will go do, we don't want the person who knows something for outshine we, and which is not a competition, So we'll begin for pick people who don't know nothing. So you get a whole ministry full of people who don't know anything. Then before you know it, we don't change the system that was working well to another system, and we don't have any evidence for back up the fact that the new system has a devastating impact on the existing system will be there. So, like Mr. Mengot say, when a system is changed, I think it's all in all fairness to the general public and with due respect to the general public, and in the name of transparency, you now foretell we why the existing system now needs to be changed. Why is it not? Why it don't become antiquated? It don't become old. It's unworkable. And not only that, it's not enough for tell you why the system not work. Now you get to tell you why the new system we want to come up with go work better. That's what you call progress. But you don't go change a system, or you don't go substitute a system where you claim it's not work, where you not even say not work. You just feel for change and you change them. Then you keep mute about why it is changed and why things are not the way they were. You see, this type of bureaucracy now make we not go forward. Not by accident. What would they say all them comment here? We not criticize a particular government. It's a pattern of conduct by successive governments. That they lead to a lack of progress. But we're not to lack of progress anymore. We're in a retrogression. We are going backwards. You see, because now we be there way ahead. Now we're way behind. Even small Gambia is ahead of us. Gambia used to be with Peking with the tote in the back. They were so lightweight tote in the back you can even run. Now Gambia too heavy. We're not even able to hold the hand and run, and then go all we on hand the wrong with we. We ought to be ashamed of ourselves. They don't want brag of having all the universities there and this and that. So these are some of my own criticism. So again, I plead with any government. Stop, like Mr. Mengot say, we used to have Ministry of Housing and Country Planning. We used to have Ministry of Land, Mines and Labor. Then I split them into three ministries, Land, Mines and Labor. Fine. But tell me why Land, Mines and Labor as one ministry was not as efficient, was unworkable. So why would I make them three? Tell us, but we don't need to do that. This is what we talk about accountability. That's what accountability is. Are these ministries being split up just for great accommodation or a work environment for more people, as political patronage? The end result is that the country ain't going to suffer. All these things we talk about youth unemployment, all these things we talk about other things, they happen by accident. Now because of inefficiency, we're not able to place we youth them. And it's not going to solve itself unless we begin to put the right people in the right position. Let me stop right here, because I'm very mindful of my co-host, Mr. Jumburia. I think I can get carried away. I could be long-winded. So So I know they dominate. I don't want to dominate. And like I said, in all honesty, Mr. Jambore and Mr. Mengot, they are the experts in some of them here. Me does to make general commentary. But these people are talking from a position of knowledge, and we should listen to them. So back to you, sir, Mr. Mengot. It's Mr. Mengot.
I think we could run this back.
I wanted the control room to let Mr. Mengot know it cut up.
Yeah, I think it should go off
Be loud
and
and clear
come
now.
on.
Yeah, I think the control room should advise him to do that.
It should go off and come on again, and I would advise he puts off his device and put it on again. Go off and on. With reboot your device, maybe the memory is overloaded.
So, Mr. Jambore, you can take over. You can take up. Yeah.
Going in the interim before Mr. Mengot comes in. You see, on the positive side, we need these public sector reforms. And for us who know, it has taken too long, because from 1990 to now, we just talk no more. The one thing we not see the change they happen. It has taken too long. How long are we going to take to implement just simple things? And you know the other side about we country where not seem for make sense. Well, they do development planning. We know they look at the adjacent facilities and sectors where we need for get some of them things up and running. Now we are talking about public sector reforms. We they talk about e-governance. That will be good for Sierra Leone. Honest to God. Especially in the area of financial management. If we can have an electronically managed financial system in the public sector that is synchronized with the banks and the private sector, all how they make their money control app is synchronized. The first thing they do for Sierra Leone is we can trace and track every income earner in the country. I would repeat it. We would trace and track. We'll be able to trace and track every income earner in the country. But before we do that, we get certain homework for do. First homework, education of the masses. And it starts with a definition of what an income is. Because for most people, they will tell you, I not get work. But that man not get work, sometimes they earn past the man get work. That man not get work. Sometimes they make 7 million leones every month. That man will get work, then they pay 1.5 million. So if we get an electronic system, we say every money, we stop for use cash or minimize the use of cash. You find out that the first effect will be, it allow the government for track every money they move in the system. And therefore, they know exactly who that for to pay tax. Where they don't set the minimum tax wage. We say, okay, minimum 1 million and below, they pay tax. But 1 million above 1 million, you for pay tax. Then grade them according to the pay as you earn system. You find out, say, that they generate more income into the public sector. That's a good side of e-governance. But there are questions. Are we ready for it? Do we have the electronic infrastructure? Do we have the telecommunications infrastructure? If we have them, how efficient are they? May you know, if they call person a free toy, they take 10 minutes before you read hello. How can an e-governance system operate in such a country? So the first of all look at, before they go talk about e-governance, now look at improving telecommunications. Is there a national policy around telecommunications? If there is a national policy, how is it implemented? These are the questions we should be answering before we come to the public to do ego trips. Let us stop ego trips in Sierra Leone. Running a country is not an ego issue. It's not an issue of sympathy nor antipathy. It's an issue of empathy. Do what is best for the greater majority and do it right. Next, create continuity. Create a system that is sustainable so that other people coming after you will take up from where you left and improve on what is left. But we have never done that since independence. Everybody take out your manifesto. Do a lot left manifesto now in a salon. Now begin talk about manifestos until go help we. Everybody has a manifesto, but everything we do is one step forward, 2 steps back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We need to get a national roadmap. That's the first thing we should look at. What do we want? How do we want it? Education. What do we want? Health. What do we want? Telecommunications. What do we want? Air traffic control, etc., etc. What do we want? Water supply. What do we want? How do we want it? When can we afford to put it together? When we have that roadmap, then we'll begin to talk about these reforms. We need the reforms, but let us stop putting the cart before the horse, because that's what we always do. Over to you, sir, Mr. Mangot. You are back.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we don't, because when this government can tell we about election, one of the things I mentioned is suggestion we make, and we know the gentleman with them input. So we're going to start by doing that analysis. We have a Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation. So we've been 6 months, 6 years into this government. So we will be very keen if somebody go do a research on what difference that Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation make. Because all they talk about things to do with telecommunications, all a part of science, technology, and innovation. It's good, as my colleague can say, it's good for getting big names there. Perhaps we'll take a program on another good innovation where it comes. That is the Presidential Initiative Infrastructure. But the way forward is that, as me say, let us start with the simplicity. Because if you want to talk about e-governance and you want to talk about access, let us think about even the basic cost of data to the average Sierra Leonean. We also get to look at how do we educate the younger Sierra Leoneans in terms of ICT. A country like Rwanda is an existing example. They start using ICT from primary school. So let's start generation. We don't talk a lot, and I'm sure we control and know say we get people on the line. We want to be in this discourse. So over.
All right. Okay, sir. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Hello, viewers. This is Omar the call.
Hello, Mr. Omar. Thank you. Welcome. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. The topic really interesting. So, like, just take man away for even call self man just listed. But Mr. Jamboya made one very, very important point in the whole discussion. Salon, we lack planning. no matter what you wanna talk, no matter any type of policy you wanna put in place, or no matter how you wanna explain the policy, if it is not well planned, the plan for fail. I feel saying that's our problem. We need a plan. Salou will left for jump into everything. When they are blame most of the one that we can call experts or technocrat. And when I say them, even Mr. Mengo is done at the studio in a one of the way for blame in that country. Because whenever government count program, whenever government want implement something, what they do, they gather expert them for consult them. You know, because most of them government people are with not politicians, not to most of them not technocrats. So they need the expertise of like people like Mr. Mengot and other people. And then people have to be patriotic enough to give the government the advice what they deserve. But Mr. Mengot and the other experts, then they fail that country. You know, sometimes we go for talk, we not say, I not say Mr. Mengot, and then they come at you, but I just generalize, they fail that country. Because when government want to something, all these things they talk, this planning. Now, I make them they consult, I make them they consult as experts, as technocrat and other bodies a way for give the government the right advice. But most of them can fail. Where I say can fail, for instance, this transportation where this transport business would want count from Pakaba after the war. We get a lot of buses that were in the car with all in the car 200, in the car 300. It is poor. You know, expect for put 700 fall inside one fall coupe. You expect all for common. I don't know for brushing company. It need to work. What we need in that country are planning. When this other one come for road, for instance, when I talk about road accident, when I talk about road safety, when this other project come for this transportation, people like Allah. Before ever they roll this out, make sure so we get enough roads. They say, no, this stuff. Then used to be then forced into the program, just implement the program. You know, now look like today. Now the buses already don't count that county, another country, and it take almost 1 hour from Eastern Police to PZ. So you see, so now they are the blame the expert, and they blame the government because if I as a teacher. If I teach one picking or me as a parent, I give me picking to one particular school. Every year it fail, I change the school or I will change the teacher. But the government is like they just get this one kind of expert. And when they fail the country, most of the time, the government bad. And the government, they go most of the advices they did. Because this transportation, we see, this is settled for fail. This bus system is settled for fail. Because of the type of advice they want to give the government, we know the advice the government says, government before they enroll into the before they do them plan there, we have put first certain system in place to make sure they them plan their work. We need to do them. You see, we blame the politician, but go for blame again the expert, they go for blame the technocrat them. Because for let's say alone develop, we all go for put hands together. Thank you very much.
All right. We will go to the next caller, but briefly, in defense of Mr. Menko, and I even think I'm capable of defending him because he's more than capable of defending himself. But I think the presumption that the experts are giving we bad advice or lead us them, I don't think it's based on facts. Because I know of instances upon instances where good advices have been given to government, where the expert turn them back, then take the recommendation, then shelf them. That recommendation, they not ever see the light of day because the money we for take for implement which in the expert to recommend, they want for share among them friends, among them cronies. In fact, that is more than 90% of the problem. Not that expert, and I would say we always get good expert advice, but most of the time I get instances upon instances of people who have given us good expert advice, but we're not willing to take them. From the law, in fact, I'm one of those. I am included. I've given series of advices. I've met with chief justices. I've offered them and showed them and tell them how things, case not get for take 5, 6. Are they interested? No. As soon as you turn your back, then say, no, man, that one day, remember saying America, this, you don't forget, say, we're in Africa, we're in a brute. We're not that civilized, we just na dog eat dog world with Depan. That's the mentality. But then, Mr. Mengot, hold your comment. Mr. Jabori, your comment. Let me take another call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Which side you call from?
Hello, the panelists, Mr. Mengot,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Shilon, Mr. John Jambuya. This is Abdul call from Maryland.
Thank you, Abdul. Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to chime in to this all-important discussion about public sector reform, which is long overdue. And this government, perhaps I can say they can always get ambitious projects or programs or reforms. But the problem is the implementation of some of them reforms here or them programs that they can get. As I say, that's very long overdue. And we will say it's laudable, as Mr. Jalon Jaboya said. Perhaps the one can make them in the big way. Because public sector reforms, it only take place over the years, over decades, over the years. Like we mentioned, the Teaching Service Commission, yes, it only take place over the years. But the problem where I get, and perhaps I'll ask a question later, is in the discharge of their reforms here, there are so many things where they come into play. You go take this by grade, it's another area, customer service, it's another area, and the e-governance that every ministries and departments forget are up and running web for contributing analysis. I still ask whether you can continue or whatever. This is 8 years. I don't get any reply. So show how inefficient the NASIS is. So I hope say with the e-governance, there is lot to be done. I believe say from time after independence, Sierra Leone used to have the best civil service in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa. I remember one old friend we don't pass away, they tell me, say in Papago, there been senior civil servants at Ghana. They come from Sierra Leone to Ghana. In the early 1900s, now they themselves born in the 1920s, early 1920s. Now they born they all now they born. In uncle Gona, instead of go as senior civil servant, they take up from Sierra Leone to Kenya. Now they start born picking them. They not even know Sierra Leone because I didn't do. So the question is what are the reasons? Is it politics will interfere too much in this civil service? When I believe that the main cause that the cankerworm that they will lead to the disintegration and the decadence with the civil service they get so they like today. The inefficiency of the civil service is mainly due to proper supervision and monitoring. I go tell you that I work for a public, I work for the local government, Maryland here. We get what we call performance planning and evaluation. Then they do one twice a year, after every 6 months, where you they set your own goals for yourself, and the department they set in goal what you want to let you achieve. So you they set your own goals what you want to achieve that 6 months they, and the department they set in your own goal what you want to achieve. So if now Health and Human Services Department today, whatever department today in the local government will be there, you they set so now so they evaluate you, and evaluation is very important. If they continuously they get bad evaluation from your supervisor and the regional manager, then you might lose your job. So if we instill landing at the Sierra Leone psyche, I believe say we civil service it go get the name way that we don't use forget before prior to independence. Some few months back, I sent a colleague of mine to do something at one ministry. I don't call it ministry name. when are some trade for do free, waiting they ask for now money, say you forget this before ever you do one. So these are some of the problems where don't be devil the civil service where they make the public service and the civil service it go continue for deteriorate. So I am hopeful, but I am skeptical that they're able to transform the civil service with some of them reforms here we then get. Because knowing Sierra Leoneans for who they are now, you get to change the mind. Like let's say Ngungi Wationgo say colonization of you get like the mind. We get to reform the mind first. If the mind is reformed, then believe you me, we will get an effective civil service. But if the mind is not reformed, when them put you a public servant or you a civil servant, when you know say that this goal is for achieve, and now the goal is where they not set for you for achieve. If you not do them, you know say you will be fired. If we know that, then it will be good. Then the salary is another big main problem. What make the civil service inefficient? You know, go take somebody when of the same grade. There is a yawning gap in salary disparity between somebody where they teach, for example, you went at grade 8, you pay 1,500. You went at the same grade 8 at the civil service, perhaps you work in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or Ministry of Works or Trade, you pay 3 million or 2,500,000. They also at the same grade, at the same qualification they also get as entry level. You should not expect an efficiency in public servants or civil servants when you do that. So the government is affordable, but they get a very big role for play. For let the mind reform the human. Let we serve the public servants and the civil servants and let them reform their mind first. That this what when they do now they serve public. So let it whichever government they are part, let the government stop for interfere because it is due to political interference. Even when they advertise jobs, it is only going to whichever party, whether it is SNP or APC, whenever both of them are in power, they always give jobs to them boys, not to other qualified. So if they stop that day, then depoliticize the civil service and public service, then we will get an efficient civil service. But if you not do that, believe you me, whatever reform can get, and let them go call Lord or nine can write like reforms for them. Then it not going to be implemented if there is a political interference. And some of them institutions, some of the as I say, depoliticize them and let them get security of tenure. Like the ombudsman, he forgets security of tenure. So some of them positions and they didn't get security of tenure. The person will say, not let a board now they appoint, then give the president they do the screening, then give the president do the final appointment. But if the president now only and solely they hire and fire, believe you me, we will not get an effective civil service. At some so far, I will call back. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Then we go to Mr. Mengot, and then we'll go to Mr. Jambore. Mr. Mengot, I think you have the floor because Mr. Umar say, now experts then. Now either part of the problem or at the problem. So go ahead.
I wanted to defend him. If he can wait for me.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
What Wale Umar understand is whatever Mr. Mengot has contributed to Sierra Leone, he has done so working with an international institution. So the advice they give is limited within the remit of what in the international body where employer am safe for do. Another thing why Wale Umar know, we can sit down now, we talk all the nice things, but those in power will not listen to us because their agenda not to the same with we own. One thing that is the agenda of Sierra Leonean politicians is that they come to office, they take all these nice projects, they make money and put in the pocket. The implementation is zero or next to zero. And I believe say the international community don't they understand that now. They are beginning to implement the Kofi Annan recommendation. We have seen it happen in Sierra Leone that now, when the European Union, they give money for bridge or road, then they involve so much that, easy. Le dokunu business, kotia putia. But all the same, when it comes to policy and planning, you can give all the advice, but these guys, they may not want to listen to it because they go into governance not to govern, but to do ego trips. Udana, this man for can't tell who sabi. Okay, una sabi fine. Una keep putting the cat before the horse. Over to you, Mr. Mangot, sir.
Very much. I mean, one thing I can say, and it make we
Unfortunately, today might be the least effective day Mr. Mangot go able to defend himself.
I don't know what's in my problem.
Yeah.
now this
You keep freezing, Mr. Mangot. You keep freezing.
now.
We are getting little of what you say. Very little.
Very little.
You continue, then I come up again.
Okay, Mr.
You see, if I can come in, Mr. Shillon, that issue of
May I interrupt you, Mr. Jambore? Hold tight. Make I take one more call. Hello, caller. What can I name? Who's side you call from?
Hello,
Hello,
Mina Lavalley. I call from Ohio.
Yeah, Mr. Lavalley, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I kind of listened to the last listener where he made mention about civil servant and public service, salary harmonization, and that kind of stuff. Appraisals in job employment areas. I just want to make a share with Unana this platform say it's one of the pillars of the current administration at Salon for harmonize the salary na Salon. For bring appraisers in civil servants for every annual there should be a department who is appraising you at your performance. So apart performance appraiser, that's something that this government is instituting as part of the reform. If really this platform was taking time for the search for information na the public departments and Salon, when I go start to realize say there is huge reforms that is undertaking that would make sure the civil servant is stabilized and more professional as in the ancient times that they always exalt in the 80s or in the 90s or whatever, the 60s where civil servants they come out worldwide, they go seek education and employment as alone. Some of these things have been gone out of performance. If I go just share with you now, say from the information we make gather from the public departments, like for example, Ministry of Education or Information, I therefore realize say Sierra Leone are one of the countries that way they still deal with paper documentation. There is no e-governance existing. Now, this current system will make sure, say, the e-governance, everything will be electronized and properly technologized for make sure, say, electronics and technology go able to enhance the performance of civil servants and public service. All of this, they happen right now. We might not know it right now because we are not seeking the information that we need. But some of us, we know about that, and they share on this platform say there's reforms going on. Maybe by the end of BOE administration, then you guys will start to realize that these reforms, the new government will come into place, will now start have a proper platform where they're able for really they appraise civil servants with performance appraisers, and salaries are now being harmonized as we talk. You grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, they are harmonizing the salaries as we speak right now as a policy for make them able for put all those documents in place, carry on the parliament and for ratify them. That's a fact happening in Salone. So there's something good coming out of this this government. One day where we go always go realize say not to eat some more than they eat money. But they are putting strategic reforms in place for make sure that in the future there is good governance. You don't have to believe it now, but 2, 3, 4 years down the road, you will understand what is governance, where it will be e-governance and all of that. So I just want to share that with you now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lavali.
Share the information with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lavali. But please bear in mind. Hold it. Thank you very much. I think, but you don't give me any fact. You talk about the future, what may occur in the future. Plans. It's always good because we want at this show. I think you get too defensive of the government. We have not specifically say anything negative about the current government. We say series of government. We only talk about what's improving. But I think you go in the defensive mode, and then with all that talk the way you talk, you not give me an instance. It's always good for just say, for example.
I will give you an example. Salary harmonization. As we are speaking right now, they are harmonized.
Please. Mr. Lavali, listen, we will listen to you, we'll not interrupt you. This is how this show is run. So let me finish for make me comment. My co-host then go make them comment. If you can get the patience you wish, you're free to say what you want to say, because if you begin talk over, maybe begin talk over, you will not get the point across. So now I will not interrupt you, and so we proceed now if you're now one of our regular listeners. So please, let us get the mutual respect for each other. Okay? So Mr. Jamboria, let me go to you, sir.
Yeah, salary harmonization is just a word. The essence of salary harmonization is to create a level playing field for all workers. 1, 2, for create and enhance contentment during service. Now I'm talking as a trade unionist. This salary harmonization is just a big word. The question is, do we have the revenue to support real income in Sierra Leone? Can we pay living wages? Have we addressed the issue of how we're going to fund paying living wages? So that how they teach, go get a living wage where you're able to pay your rent, you're able to take care of in basics. That how then a civil service able to do the same thing, etc., etc. Harmonization, as I can tell you, say they give all man 1,000, but it's 1,000 real income. Have we solved the problem, or have we just bypassed it to create a semblance of solving it? And I want we call her for realize, say, I worked 20 years in Sierra Leone. I was involved in the trade union movement. I know exactly how Sierra Leone they operate. It has not changed. And it will take a long time to change because we are putting the cart before the horse. The first thing for do, now forget away for improve on public sector so that we will get more revenue into the public finance. Have we done that in Sierra Leone? Because when we do that, a lot of other things, they come with the assist public sector reform. Money talks, bullshit works. If you don't have the money, every way they talk, they work. You harmonize salary, that's how they teach. If you add up, you add up. That's how the civil service, if you add up, you add up. If it be they take bribe, they continue for take bribe. So nothing, they change. Over to you, sir.
Mr. Mengot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you want to contribute to, I don't know if you heard the caller, if you get anything for say?
Well, he talks about
you also were in defense of yourself as far as Umar say about experts, but then you were breaking up so much, nobody was hearing what you had to say.
Let me address that issue, not from a personal view, but through my affiliation with professional organizations in Sierra Leone and elsewhere Africa. Because a privilege for them work now over 25 countries. And some of the countries that I don't work with, so you get a listening government and you get a profession where the influence government changes will be. What do I mean by that? In Sierra Leone, I am a member of the Sierra Leone institutions, right? We get a professional engineers regulatory authority. Recently, with problem where they arise. So my colleague then are free talk, and they talk on them behalf. Then they're in government. Even if you look at institutions, they will get NASA loan. You go to the ministry, or you go to the Sierra Leone Roads Authority, current head of Sierra Leone Roads Authority. It's a member of the Sierra Leone Institution of Engineers. Alien. You go EDSA, you get members of Sierra Leone of Engineers. So they will go for look at the one the way they tongue, my colleague the way they tongue, when are professionals them. When some of them are given government appointment, sensitive appointment, who said the loyalty lie? Is it to their profession or to the one we appoint her? Because I'll start by the way where they put the letter where they appoint you. When they say it pleases the president to appoint you, and the president is pleased to appoint you. When you're there, you do what in the man will appoint you say. You ignore your institution. We also see the recent difference in the legal profession. When you side Mr. Shillong, we get the bar association, they make election. Who does supervise the election? We all know. Then there's a breakaway now. You form law society. Like your example. When they form law, they call them first Law Society of Sierra Leone. The Minister of Justice take an injunction in court. He say they never put Sierra Leone at the name. I think say they change them. They say because it's a private institution. But the same government allow a private investor for calling company here Sierra Leone. The Minister of Justice no object. Here Sierra Leone, is it a government institution? It is not. No. So why make the difference? That's all I get for say. So it's good for us. But the point is, the institution alone, the professional institution, if the government of the day not take from them, who am I for them from me? If our minister tell me, say, me no know how they wrong plan or put much money in business. So what I'm doing here now is public education and public awareness. As a Udaga yes for yeri le yeri. But I'm not going to challenge any criticism about my development in Sierra Leone. And that number will get for see.
Mr. Jambore, unless you get something, I just want to give Mr. Lavalley a brief moment because we'll not get that much time. I will only give him 1 minute for respond if you get anything say because if the talk say could give you an example. Then let we move on because we'll get a couple of topics more before the show is over. Yes, go ahead, sir.
I think we lost him. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. We've dealt with this topic.
Yeah, I think in continuation, the next topic with the standards because it actually sync with the public service here. A lot play the video for a rest, a lot listen to waiting, then say on this standard bureau and weights and measure. We come back to waiting will be the top. If the controller can play with their video day on this new initiative, because this is an initiative.
Fumble them. As we been promising us say November 7, we they come about with the cup then at the marketplaces them. And tomorrow will be November 7. Then cup there, then scale there, go then a market. Me your name now Rutes Camara, and this is IB Block TV. I dey also the director of Sierra Leone Standard Bureau. It will take me through then cup there and then different skills they are waiting then they about for me and you go understand. Yes, sir. How are you, sir? Your name?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to Fambude. My name is Dr. John Pokaisam, the Executive Director of Sierra Leone Standards Bureau.
Yes, sir. As soon as been say tomorrow will be the 7, then cup there go day na market. So the layman go on for no waiting then skills they are there about because they see lot of skills them. You can able tell we waiting and they about.
Yeah, sure. I'm excited to tell Fambuden say by tomorrow, by his grace, we begin sending cups on the market. This are the cup, this are the measuring cup, these are for measure liquids, substances, palmine, red palmine, and oil, coconut oil, as the case may be. This is kind of a measure liquid one, because they get, you see them, their mouth, they get some kind of funnel, and their mouth will they use, so the way they turn up, you know, go waste. Similarly, we get this other set of cups, which also within a market. This cup, now for measure solid substances, rice, flour, sugar, as the case may be. Now, here we measure them. It's like a standard cup we go in the market. You know, most of we along the line, they'll buy clothes, then materials, we wipe them, or we said they go buy clothes, trusses, materials. Then. Effectively, immediately, we begin use this kind of scale. This is what they use now, what they use for measure. You know, they use that tape the way they don't fold for. Or sometimes, if you go to the market, if they see the money in the hand that they use. If I bring your hand long, you will get more. But then you can see the money is short. So now this scale here, this is what we're going to use in the market now for the measure we close and we'll go buy in the market. Yes, we can always go and say we'll go buy with meat then, £2, £3, we really get her. This is what we're going to use. These ones and then they go for begin use for weight. How many pound meat we get? £2, £3, £4, the case may be. Similarly, also we get this other scale we use for fruits, like where you get apple. Yes, right? Yes. How many? Yes, by kilo. Where you go tell you 1 kilo, 2 kilo, 3 kilo, as the case may be. Then you pay, as the case may be. Similarly, this one we see now we use for measure fish. Wow. Yeah, we will like fish. Now they're going to put time for measure fish for we. So we go not to put. They put big one, small one, 2 kg, 3, 4, as the case may be. Now you go get them. This other scale you see here, now they will measure rice. We they use this for measure rice. So we're gonna shop. Everybody we're gonna shop. We want to buy rice. Make sure say they put up a scale and you read 50 kg or 25 kg. If it's below 50 or 25, don't pay for it. Don't buy it because a bag of rice at 50 kg or the small bag of rice at 20 kg. If you get 10 kg, rest them with a day. But then for where I'm, let you see say it takes 10, it takes 25 or 50 as the case may be. So basically, this thing they all that's here, they're gonna market. When they begin getting at the market, and now they use. They start with the western area and the Freetown tomorrow, and by His grace, the next 4 weeks, we'll not make sure so we'll cover all at the Freetown. They will go Watalo. And come next year, by His grace, we will move up to the up country and make sure that all what we get at retail go down there. So before the first quarter of next year, we don't exhaust the whole country, say, we don't get standard cups then, standard scale, measuring things then at the market.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Well, Famboldem, as we see, this na transparency. As we don hear from the director himself, when you go buy, you rest, make sure say you weigh am. When you go na market, make sure say then use the right cup for measure for you. Money at forget. Follow IB Blog TV for more. Like our videos, share. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Who goes first, Mr. Jamboria or Mr. Mengot?
Mr. Mengot, go first.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, for me, key questions, just like okay, so we call the initiative here, right? Number one, the cost implication. Now, government get for supply the measuring device here to the term, or now they get for buyer. I feel say the latter, now in the case, now they go get for. If now they get for buyer, we get enough supplies for them. Because when you go na market, you take one small market, me small village work now, that will be first market. You know, almost traders and they start now. We all take all the markets. We get almost supply for they actually supply to all them people and they. Then the next two I'll get for talk because now the standards bureau their own responsibility. You get calibration of scales. Because even if you get the right scale, we get forget people them. The standards bureau get for certify, say, then scales and then at the right measurement. And then get inspectors them. Technical people the way they go around for check say the scales them okay. The other two I will tell you, even then cop the way they measure per mine. I will tell you say wait on the per mine that cup the one day where they inside the cup. It make losses. So there are many, many questions, practicality, and ideas about these things. So for me, there are more questions and answers. Left and so, and over to you, Mr. Jamboya.
I think you don't hit the nail on the head. It's a good initiative. It's a very good initiative, but it is being done wrongly. In the first place, then cups then they for palm wine and oil. They are health-wise not good. You know, they use plastic for sell oil and palm wine. And I believe say the Bureau of Standards for even come out say them plastic where then they put them palm wine where then they sell to people them for change. Because there is a process called adsorption. Adsorption where they take place. ADSORPTION. Plastics, they adsorb liquids. And what does that mean? Especially considering the environmental conditions in Sierra Leone, dust and other things. If they cup team up now an open atmosphere outside, jams and other things there, because it don't absorb that oil, some of it will trickle into the plastic. Then when you put oil there for sell give people, you they transfer disease. It's a scientific fact. I want anybody to challenge that. Bureau standards, now one of them duty that for ensure say the health of the food meets the requirement for the safety of the consumer. But if now they can't sell something where they put the consumer, or now they can't promote something where they put the consumer at risk, I would ask them to rethink. They either go for metal containers or, if possible, but that again, where people are not able to manage them, or then go for glass containers because glass does not adsorb. Metals, especially metals with aluminum or silver lining, now they adsorb. But that plastic is not good. It's a health risk. It's an environmental risk. I want somebody to deny that. Go and prove me wrong. Adsorption. Now I make even food when they put on plastic globally, don't they go out of fashion now because of the health risk then they. It's a good venture, but it is not properly done. They have to revisit it. Then the second side, I don't believe they give enough time for educate the masses about why they need for change and use that kind of measures when they introduce. One blogger go, he talk, almost people upline get internet for see that blogger. What in the media they do about that? Have they gone on the national radio and television to talk about it? Have they spoken about it in the various districts? You know, we can elect for do good, but we know they do them properly. And doing the same thing all the time, expecting different outcomes. I hope as abuse I end in how they call her. Frenchman say imbecile. No, let for be imbecile na salon. Do you big?
All right,
Over to
Mr.
you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Jamburia. Well, with respect to waiting, I mean, the idea about this measurement, weight and measurement issue, I mean, it looks like it's a good start. Me on curiosity no more. I always, not to the intention me to go by, not that the policy plan in terms of implementation. So that's what I'm more interested in. That the idea is great. Anything we can bring uniformity, we could bring efficiency. I'm all for it. But now I just want to know how are we going to when I say you for sell per mind and this kind of thing, you for do this, you for do that. How do we implement it to make sure it is equally applied to everybody in the Western area and the rest of the country? That's what I'm usually interested in policy because we get ideas, but until an example I could give, somebody come up with the idea about aeroplane and they get the best of intention, but until that person they put them into practicality, a lot of us don't have any appreciation of what it may mean to travel by air. So the intentions again are noble, but the implementation, the policy implementation is what I would like to know more of, you know? So I don't want people to say, oh, anything we government come up with, when I want to criticize. No, we just want to get a better understanding. Let us see how things could be applied, you know? Now I make what Mr. Jamburia say with respect to policies all the way back going to 1990, there have been recommendations for implementing certain policies. They take 21 years before they implement them. Unfortunately, some people don't want to hear that. In fact, if Mr. Lavalley can call back, you see, any one of the people who will take the position that he seemed to be offended by not lavishing praise on the government, but that's not what we're here for. We're not a propaganda machine for any particular party, you know, so we can't do that. We now things in the national interest and that we're interested in, regardless, because people are affected up and down the aisle, from Freetown to Kailan District, from Falaba District to Bont District. We're all affected the same way, you know. So the petty differences, I'm not for into it. And people that would listen to, we know say, we are definitely not interested in party politics. So very quickly, let me take two calls. I think because we're almost running out of time, but they will take two calls. So hello caller, what's your name? Where you call from?
Hello, Mr. Shilon. This is now Umaro again.
Yeah, Mr. Omar, welcome again.
Okay. I don't watch the Standard Bureau, the initiative with them. It's really nice. At least I don't really realize them. But the only thing I'm just like quoting Mr. Jamboria talk, they really need planning. I feel say what made the government count the cup in your side, the plastic in your side. Maybe they think of the recycling and so on. But it talk something. It say if the production go enough for the amount of people we get for need them. Now then we get now they the local how do you call them? The local content come inside. We get a whole plastic manufacturing company in that country. So we don't want to see a system where in government they can rule a particular thing a day. They end up for Gogi an international company or end up for import and cups a day. So if it's a government account and let we want to see when a local factory in that country go manufacture and make sure it reach to everybody. About the plastic in your side we talk, yes, again right. But even here we get a lot of things that still with a plastic, but let it be more recycling. Let them go recycle them. So at the end of the day, we're not going to get a lot of plastic in the street. We don't know what to do with that. Then the scale, let me again, it's nice because, for instance, when I've been travel from Freetown to Kenema, I use the other motorcade, the normal motorcade. I end up for pay 60,000 euros for me box, for me 2 box. Then when I come, I use government transport. And with government transport, now exactly that scale where they show me. Then they show you. So the government transportation, the government bus, then the penny box at the scale, then the scale they tell you how much you could pay. We say I've been paid 50,000, I end up to pay only 14,000 euros. So you see the benefit is there. But I want me, what to me they say government, let them not allow the people for only buy them till let them rent the thing out to the people. The scales, I don't say the cops, but the scales when I let them get people where they repair. They rent out to people, let it be for say, now government property. So people no go tamper out. So they go get incentive that if in case in Hamburg now in service, they go can change them for the people on time, and government will create a lot of revenue out of that. Now they happen advanced content kind machine and they just take animal, you give people and say, come buy away buy now you get them. Then they manipulate them. But if the people don't get that, they know now rent them. Now, that way government they create income and then go rent them, then they pay a particular amount of money. Where it well, they go can replace them or they repair them for them. And if say it go fine. Then the man that other man we talk about a lot of reforms. I don't understand what they try for talk. We get a lot of reforms so that they go to that country, not to today start, not to today done. But now for let them come into life. For instance, the past government we Sweden call this minimum wage, 500,000. We see a lot of people with we lost their job. Government will stand for them for make them get a job again. And up to today, we're still in the same place. So the reform all not just political gimmicks. We not say it necessary. These are all way government and politicians they take for escape the issue on ground. So for let's say reforms, then I just bogus. Thank you very much.
All right. I'll go take one more call, but before I take that call, I just want to let people think, including the colleagues, them. With respect to this scale thing in the market is nothing new. When I was growing up in Kailaun district, my daddy and a businessman, we would buy produce, coffee, cocoa, banga. We would buy them. Now where would be the way them? You can buy them by pan. There was some shine pan we can take measure, or you can buy them by weight. So transacting business by weight has been in the practice. Now, the thing that throws me off, I just want to forget and understand it. I hope people are not going to see criticism this. I was not aware that we can. So are they introducing a new way for buy fish? Because I remember fish, not by weight, people they buy them. They buy them by size indeed. So now, if they can't weigh the fish them by scale, it just new to me. I like to know how they will set the price, the prices or the pricing on scaled fish. You know, that's a new thing to me. It may not be new to the industry, you know, but the scale, and then with beef, well, people already buy beef. Why not to bush beef anywhere? If you go in a caveat, even upline, every district where I know, Kalaun district, even the small that sounds like Pendembu, you always get scale for where the meat, where people are going at the butcher shop for buy meat. Now, any part na Sierra Leone, they get for where then they sell the meat by pound. Now that means no. So that is nothing new. Mr. Jamboria or Mr. Mengot make one observation. Once it is required that these skills are mandatory, then there have to be ways by which they will calibrate them, meaning they for make surprise visit to USAID and they use them in the for make sure say the consumers them are not being cheated by not giving them the right weight. Because sometimes the scales can be manipulated. So even if you show 3 pounds, it may not be actually 3 pounds if them and put the same product on another scale. So me just try for talk say the ideas are good, but implementation is what we should be concerned about if we want to let benefit the public. You know, so the ideas are good, implementation is all I'm saying. And if my colleagues think you hold on, I'll take one more call. Hello, caller, what your name? Where side you call from? Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello, yeah, Mr. Shilon. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah, Mr. Shilon, this is Abdul call again.
Yes, go ahead. You're welcome.
I just want to wait till you. Yeah, before me comment on this Standards Bureau initiative, let I go back to the previous caller, Mr. Lavalley, in concern where we are just criticizing and some of we did on top of issues in Sierra Leone. I mean, an avid listener. No major news on the past week. I know say there are reforms in certain areas since the inception of this GSTI in the state house. Like one good department or ministry when I recommend the Ministry of Lands. Yeah, Ministry of Lands, they don't make serious reforms today. That the minister now gets in websites up and running where you want to apply for building permit, you want to apply for title old the way they normally do again. You're able for do and through or you're able for do online instead of you go to the ministry. So they don't decongest the ministry. When you go the first time, yeah, you will see lots of people that you don't know who than a visitor and who than a workers, but they don't try that side. And as Mr. Jalo Jamboga say, the reforms here are new. Reforms and don't take place from time immemorial. So maybe they can do them now in this grand scale. So not that we are castigating government or we are pessimistic or cynical about what government is doing. There are some things that they are doing, some reforms where they put in place. But as I say, me no worry or me no skepticism that the reforms thinking they find a paper, but how do they roll them out? How do they implement them? As I say again, we get for decolonize the mind. The human resource now we now then therefore implement the reforms there. How ready as Sierra Leonean civil servants and public servants are. You have to reform the mind first before ever we'll be able to roll out and implement them thoroughly so that we'll be able to get the desired result. Because at the end of the day, we want effective, efficient public and civil servants. Because if the civil servants and public servants are inefficient, now any country, that country is doomed to fail. It will be a failed state. So they are the machine or the cog, not the wheel. Now they are the key machinery where they make let it civil service become efficient. Then coming to the Standards Bureau, the Standards Bureau, the initiative good, just as the concern with Mr. Mengot and Mr. Charles Jambuya get, but the plastic aspect. Though perhaps they will talk say they want cut down on whatever, but I believe they forget people away science oriented that give them advice whether that plastic dey for measure of oil and palm oil good or not. But for the scale for the rest is very important because people they buy rest when you go buy the 50 kilo when you go na house because the people very store workers them. Now then they open the bag, then they put after na some bags them. So if you unfortunately go meet up that bag they where they go buy, then they put on a plastic. And from the water kitchen when they transport and then they do that. Then when they talk to the laborers them and when you can at the store again at the same thing, the store workers and they do that. Open the bag. So when you take and go to house, instead of eating I think one bag can do 12, 14 or 14 dozen. Now you can come up on the one bag. So when you go measure and then at 10,000 means you don't pull a lot spanner. So a laudable and we they expect the rollout will be effective, but we hope say and the price for the cups then because I definitely not sell and get for seller. So the people it not go be something where the people will be frowner. But for the fish, frowner. The fish are not free to say then they go feasible for let people let them make scale for sell fish. Then they go only possible that stores them. They can get grocery stores them at each part of the world. But the open market where they get sold at Sierra Leone, that fish they not go be effective for let them sell fish by still. So I stop so far. Now thank you. Thank you.
Any comments, Mr. Jambori and Mr. Mengot? Hello?
I think we are muted, are we?
No, I can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes.
So any comment?
You see, the only comment we make for say a lot of good things are in the process of being planned. But I think it will be advisable at times, let we not rush them here for the sake of saying we did this. Let us take time to look at what in Salone need at this time. Let we look at every sector, what in need. We'll get a composite document prepared. Then from that composite document, we can begin look at now, how do we reform the public sector to deliver on this roadmap? How do we get the public to understand this is what we want to do? Because one thing we're absent in Sierra Leone governance, now the communication of the government to the governed. The fourth estate does not do its job in Sierra Leone. When you read with newspapers, you listen to Salone News, all what you hear, na cause and effect, whether they pull in tianda, whether they talk about what things for can bad. We never have good news. Policy implementation is part of the good news we should be broadcasting to the people. And we should go to broadcast it not only in English or Creole, but to the least language. Go to the Limba people, explain to first them. Remember, we've been small, we've been get Minister of Information and Broadcasting, then we get out broadcasting unit. Then we get cinema screen, and get projector, then get speaker, microphone. Lorry been there where they carry them all over the place. Then they show film, they talk to people them. Educating the people, our public outreach. We need that at this time. Whatever plan the government has, whatever plan future governments have, they should ensure they give time to the people to get the information, absorb it, and get feedbacks from the people. Let we come out panda Malinke caste mentality, ruler, workers, slaves. That's what we still do in Sierra Leone. I am the head of state, I can do as I like. No. Go down to that man where you be head of state for, you're in your own view. Sometimes that view, they go help you for plan better. Me na the minister, I not get obligation for listening to any expert advice. No, listen, because Desiderata tells us even the dull and the stupid have their message. We'll start this program, we'll talk about black and not so. We
Yes.
talk about icon, black Salon Trump, not so.
Yep.
These guys had messages. They have messages that we should listen to. Every living organism has a message to give. Not only human beings, every living organism has a message to give. This is where the Western economies, then they always get it right. Then they look at what is happening. How does it affect our policy? How do we tailor the policy so that it will suit the environment? Let us stop importing policies into Sierra Leone. Because most of what they do now, book talk, they import policies. Not be practical. Not be practical. If people learn how they use the correct cup for sellers, why then they do that? They'll find out. When we know that, maybe we go come with a policy, we'll go make sure say that not happen again. Now we don't come with the new cups here. Would that I say they're not go put away for thief? And whose assurance we get say the one that will be road standards they send for the go, make sure say they do the work properly, they not go they get something at them pockets for set them out. Huh? We cannot be doing the same thing expecting different results. Let us move away from that. Let us become practical. If you begin the thief, instead of you saying a thief man, ask them or find out what in they cause that thief. Sometimes the pikin not get enough food for it in the house. Make sure they provide enough food. We have seen that happen before. In homes that were polygamous, certain children grow to become criminals, not because they want to be criminals, but because of deprivation. Let us move away from assumptive governance. Let's try to be practical. Governance has to be inclusive. Democracy is an inclusive process. That case man treat self, in opinion matter for make we build a democracy. I'll go stop and it today, sir.
All right, Mr. Mingot. Go ahead, sir. I don't know if we'll get any more topic, but even if we do, I'm afraid we may not have enough time to get to another one. But go ahead and let me hear it from you.
I think at this stage we've exhausted time. One comment I'll get for Mick, just like we'll talk about, when you talk about, what do they talk about too? Food, distribution, marketing and distribution. You talk about supply chain. Now, if you say you can cup them for measure palm for measure the liquid, what's in where they not measure them? Whose container then they put out for the final buyer? Now the buyer they bring your own container, or the market people and they bring in a container. That is an as we say, it's a laudable idea. It's good to get standard. You also demand talk about how for measures. That ain't not a problem. I don't think so that ain't much of a challenge. But now all that liquid thing they would they talk, fly, the distribution. Now we get for look into now makes we get consumer association. to the extent to which then consumer association were even involved. As for civil society, less I say about them, the better. But that's all I have to say. And I will say thank you to the listeners then. We hope say enjoy the program. And as I always can say, there's no monopoly to knowledge. We stand to be challenged. And also still need for know if anybody gets information about the progress of the department, science, technology, and let us know if they need we support. At least somebody from there, if you want to interview, let them tell me how far they don't go. Because everything comes from particular science, technology, and innovation. So with that, I will just say tata to people them. Stay safe. Have a blessed week and a profitable week until we meet next week.
To you, Mr. Jamboria.
Well, fumble them. We will come now. We they go, Sister Lako Maxwell. Una, thank you for listening to we. Momo no, afumami no. Bondesha bisha. Bisha kaka, nyalima.
All right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Jamboria and Mengot. As always, I hope we're able to enlighten the public. I hope Mr. Lavalley will be called, seem to have some discontentment or dissatisfaction or contrary view. I wish he be called back, forget the opportunity for expressing himself. So we're going to understand what he get at, and we ain't going to understand what they say. So I strongly encourage him for listening to broadcasting every weekend. And then please be one of we regular guests. So we not just want people we agree with we for listen to we. We also going to strongly encourage the one that we not agree with we for continue for listen and bring ideas. Like I tell them, as long as we get mutual respect for each other, we will give you all the time, make you express your view. So when we want to express, we don't take on your view, just give you the time for respond. And then Mr. Mengo just says something. We might even try, we'll ask the producer. Some of them government officials say it's about time we begin sending them, for the record, formal invitation to appear on the show. So if we get questions, we will ask them about some of them things here, like the fish measurement, where the gentleman talk about. Like I say, it look like a new thing. So if some of you will get question, we, the presenters, them, and we call us them, probably go call in and see if you can answer some of the questions. But so I think a good idea. I could talk to the producer about that. Until then, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. Hope we'll go see each other and hear from each other again next week, next Sunday. Until then, good night, goodbye, good evening, and see you again. Take care.